Good day everyone. Today on the bench I'm going to tie you up my floating nymph. This is a nice little pattern that'll work well when the fish are porpoising in the lake. Don't be suckered in by throwing dry flies at them. They're actually fishing on mergers when they're porpoising, when you're not seeing just the sippy type rises with the little rings. So you want to be fishing the mergers. And here's a nice one here. It hangs on the surface very well. It's got the wings, got a little, looks great from underneath. I'll just show you the materials we need to tie this fly. We'll get to it. I'm going to use a continuous curve size 12. This is C12 scud hook, and just make sure it's a little lighter wire so it hangs a little easier. It's not quite so heavy, of course. What makes this work is we got a styrofoam bead for the top, and then this is just some of that nylon webbing that comes with that. That's actually rosac for floating rosacks, and for the steelhead and salmon guys have it. You'll find that in your tackle shops, so you can go find that. The tail and the legs, I'm going to use some partridge hackle. The body, I'm going to use some ostrich herl, and I look for the ostrich herl that it's little finer barbels. It's good for the smaller flies. It comes in all kinds of colors, and the natural colors are what I favor the most. And just to show you some of this ostrich herl from the older birds, gets to be, you know, big, heavy, thick barbels. Makes great when you're using them on salmon flies or bigger flies even. It's good. Here's some barred ostrich herl. There's olives and tans, lots of natural colors, bright colors, whatever you like. So it's great material. Try to use it more often if you can. It does work quite well. The wing, I'm going to use some midge flash. This is in tan. You can use pearl or something light colored like that. And then what else we need? We're going to use some antron for the thorax. This doesn't soak up any water. It's dry fly dubbing. You can use a couple things for the rib. Sometimes I'll use the extra fine wire, the soft wire in silver, or if I want to go, I'll use a opal or a pearl mirage tinsel in the small, and that'll give me a body with a lot more glisten. It's got a really neat effect. You can use that as well. Sometimes that works really good on a little brighter day possibly. So you can use different colors and sizes to imitate any of the naturals in the water you're at, but it's a great little pattern of fish, and one I would suggest you learn to tie or have it along with you. Don't see a lot of them out there. I don't see too many of these anywhere. Floating nymphs have been around for a long time, but we kind of hadn't found real popular flavor for some reason. Merger's a very vulnerable stage of the insect for the fish too, so that's one thing we should always try to consider. Okay, I'm going to start my thread on the front third there, and I'm going to get into my tie-in point. Just envelope the styrofoam bead with the nylon mesh. I like using this. It just ties down super tight. Doesn't leave much bulk or anything there. I'm just going to go around it more like a parachute post, and we'll get down to the bottom here. You can turn it a little bit there. Now I'm going to go bring in my partridge hackle and find, we're doing a brown. If I was doing a gray, I'd go to more of the gray hackles. Of course, you want to kind of select material that matches your coloration, and here's some nice right off the back. That's very soft. I'm just going to pull this down. This tip does not swim. I'm going to cut that off. This can come off the bottom, and I should have some nice soft legs for the back here, for the tail. And it's got some really nice markings to it. It can be a little longer. I'm not too concerned about the length of the tail. I'll don't want it really too grossly long, but that looks pretty good. Now I'll grab some of my wire, this extra fine, and really I like to use a little bit of wire on here just to give it some durability. Wire slips out, of course, so it's always a good idea to tie your wire back over itself. There we go, now it's not going nowhere. And grab myself some ostrich. All you need is one strand. Tie it in by the tip. And then go up to the bead. And we're just going to overhand this up to the front. Get a nice. You can leave the ostrich curl like this. It's just going to be a lot more fragile, but it sure makes a terrific body. I don't know if you can find anything nicer than that. Works really well. It's fragile, of course. You get a fish or two on it. Probably get chewed up. There, I'll just tie it off behind the styrofoam bead. Clip it off. And I'm going to counter wrap with my extra fine wire. Try not to pinch too much down, but it really gives it a lot more durability, and it's not taking a lot away from the pattern at all, as long as you don't drop too much of the ostrich curl down. Okay, so then I'll bring in a little bit of the midge crystal flash. This is really, really good for small flies. I'm just going to take it, double it over my thread, come up to the top and tie it down. We cut it off about halfway down the body. Want it fairly short, but they can just barely see that from underneath. That's what we're looking for. You can tie it with or without legs. Kind of like the legs underneath. I want to find myself some good hackle here. There's a nice coloration right in there. Kind of a brownish gray. It's almost kind of in between what I'm using, so accent what we have. Now we'll go on each side here, just pinch these legs off. Get it set on this side. Get a little set on that side. You can see that from the bottom. That looks pretty good. That'll be sitting basically just in the water. Those legs will actually, I don't know if they move much, but they look like they will. Okay, then we'll bring in some, we want some of the darker thorax, so I'll just get some of my Antron here. Dub that on the front. There we go. And we'll start dubbing the back. In the front. Get our thorax built. Gets a little buggy up there, that's okay. And then we'll tie it off. We'll finish it behind the eye. Get rid of that little straggler, they seem to show up. Okay. So it's a nice little pattern. It's not hard to tie, and it will work very well for you on a lot of the lakes. You can fish on rivers too. Don't think it's just for still water at all. It'll put a lot of fish in your net for you. I know you're going to really enjoy this one, and make sure you tie it in all the different sizes and colors, and still got lots of time before we get out on the water, so get your box full of these. That's my Brent'S floating nymph. So All the best for that one. Hope to see you on the water. Catch you next time on Sports Fishing on the Fly, on the bench. Thanks for watching.
To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfotf.ca. And if you would like to book an adventure like this one shown, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime.